So, so with Sonic Prime, on the rise next year, one question I'm sure a lot of people have is, depending on who shows up in the series, is who should voice who? Who's going to be the voices of who? Now, apparently, IMDb has a listing of the potential voice actors and actresses. And some people have reported on that here on YouTube. And some are basically saying take it with a grain of salt because potentially this could be somebody that's just trolling the fans, knowing how big this fan base is and knowing how much fans want, certain characters incorporated into Sonic Prime in some shape or form. So, yeah, whatever this list of voice actors and actresses are, it's one of those situations that I do agree without even watching the video or even looking at the link to that list. I would agree, yeah, you need to take it with a grain of salt. So with that said, though, who should voice certain characters, especially if the characters are only going to show up maybe once or twice in the series, maybe 3 times, depending on the scenario. And I think, honestly, if I was to choose, 3 characters that I think will show up that should get voices, obviously, these characters are going to be female because, that would be the most obvious. Not the most obvious, but the most obvious characters people would choose from would be of the female perspective. But out of all the characters, these 3 females, I think, are the ones that could potentially show up at least once, maybe 3 times throughout the series run, depending on how long the story goes. And those being, of course, Sally, Tangle, I believe, is another, and then potentially, if not more than likely, Blaze. So, who would I go with for Sally? Well, there's a lot of names being thrown around, if you will, for who could voice her. But if I'm gonna choose somebody to step forward and kind of take the reins, if you will, someone that I think Katsushi would approve of, then I gotta potentially go with the girl that's voicing Lola right now, and that's Zendaya. Zendaya or Zendaya, I can't think of a name, but the actress that's doing Lola right now, doing Lola in the new Space Jam movie, I have to go with her because the scenes that they show her in, it definitely sounds like that's Lola. So I would say Zendaya or Zendaya, as Sally. And the other choice, if they couldn't get her, I would say Tara Strong. I could see Tara Strong being a voice for Sally as well. So Zendaya, if you will, and Tara Strong is a good choice for Sally, either one of those. And speaking of Tara Strong, I think she'd be good for Tangle. She brings that wittiness, if you will, that quirkiness, if you will, to a character. I think Tara Strong would be great for Tangle. Kristen Wiig, I think, would be good for Tangle, but I would go with Tara Strong or Kristen Wiig. So Tara Strong, Zendaya, if you will, for Sally, one of them, and Tara Strong or Kristen Wiig for Tangle. Now for Blaze, that's going to be an interesting scenario, but I think if I was to choose anyone for Blaze, I would probably go with Emily Blunt. I would go with Emily Blunt or the person that got voicing Teela in the new Masters of the Universe Revelation, Sarah Michelle Gellar. So either Sarah Michelle Gellar or Emily Blunt, to me, would be perfect for Blaze. Those are the 3 I think should be. So those basically are the names that I think they should bring in, at least for those 3 characters. As far as characters like, let's say, Bunny Rabbit, I think it's obvious. You have to go with the voice of Applejack, and that's Ashley Ball, if you will. You have to go with Ashley Ball on that. So I think that's a no-brainer, if you will. because she has that personality. She sounds like, someone that could take a blending of what she does for Rainbow Dash and Applejack and blend it into potentially a very decent version of Bunny Rabbit's voice, what Christine Kalovich did when she was around. So I would definitely go with Ashley Ball for Bunny. And, characters, like, let's say, who else? I would bring Dan Green in. I would bring in Dan Green once again. He did Knuckles. I would bring him in to voice Knuckles in this. And the guy that voiced Seto in Seto Kaiba in Yu-Gi-Oh! I think he also voiced Shadow in Sonic X. I would bring him in as well to voice Shadow again. So, yeah, those are just some of the names I'm going with. Like Dan Green for Knuckles, the guy that voiced Shadow in Sonic X, as well as Seto Kaiba in Yu-Gi-Oh! I'd have him come back for Shadow. Ashley Ball, I would have, Ashley Ball be Bunny Rabbi, because I think it works. But again, I would go with Zendaya or Tara Strong for Sally, Tara Strong or Kristen Wiig for Tangle, and Emily Blunt or Sarah Michelle Gellar for Blaze. And if you're wondering who I'd get for Whisper, I have to go with Andrea Lindgren. She did a great job with Fluttershy, so I think she'd be good for Whisper. But who do you think should voice them? Let me know down below. Comment if you like. Talk to y'all later.